Welcome to AHA, a human among humans. We have one person trying to be a human being today, who happens to be me. So, I am going to share with you some poem songs. My beloved first wife, Robbie, Pfeufer Kahn, died this month. We got divorced, but wow, what a gift. It's a great pity not to know what a gift people are, and maybe even feel that we're a gift to them. Can we get to that place? My beloved friend Barbara Michaels said every moment is a gift, even if it sucks. That could be a poem in itself. Every moment is a gift, even if it sucks. Whew. That would be wonderful to feel. Wow. What could we do to feel that? Every moment is a gift, even if it sucks. One of my poem songs, show you how challenging it was to be my wife, is called Nobody's Perfect. Stranger to the human race, I'm always losing face. I'm baser than the base, a disgrace to be erased. Maybe it helps that this is called Nobody's Perfect. This is stranger to the human race. Many of us can identify. I'm always losing face. We know what that is. Ouch, I'm losing. I'm baser than the base. Maybe you haven't had this exquisite experience of feeling lower than the lowest. Whatever that means. Might be a bit aggrandizing, yes? I am baser than the base. But it is a feeling. And then a disgrace to be erased. Now that could be among Muslim mystics called Sufis. They call that fana, or annihilation. Getting rid of your ego. I never knew what that meant. I thought anybody who wanted me to get rid of my ego, they wanted it. I went to live in Israel for 3 years. And I was, in my own way, a very devout Christian. Became baptized at 25 in the Catholic chapel at the University of Chicago. wonderful priest, Father Donahoe. He didn't teach me much about Catholicism, which maybe was good. He wanted to learn what I was learning at the University of Chicago. He had one unusual question. Can God create a rock that's too heavy for God to lift? To make that more human, can God create humanity that's too challenging for him to lift up? In Auschwitz, Elie Wiesel writes about this. The Jews in Auschwitz, 6 million were burned in the camps by the Nazis, which happens to be the number of deaths worldwide that are recorded from COVID now. So maybe we could do the same as they. They put God on trial. They had a real trial. Prosecutor, defense attorney, is God guilty of not protecting the people who love him? With a God like this, why honor, cherish? And the rabbis found him guilty as charged, not protecting human beings. We could look at the newspaper today. And then the rabbi said, let's go pray. And did. So even though, whatever you want to call the creative powers of the universe, I just attended a very moving talk about the Milky Way. A woman, I can't quite remember her name, maybe McIntyre, forgive me. She was an astrophysicist and a mythologist. She studied both. Because there's many ways of interpreting the stars. And she imagined in this book that she was the Milky Way, talking about there's about 1 billion stars in one galaxy, and there's 1 billion galaxies. And she said there's, I think she used the word sextillion planets. So there's just almost no chance that there's no life. It's just impossible to believe, which might explain many of the UFO sightings. So she imagined she was the Milky Way, and I asked her, well, do you think it has any awareness? And she said she hopes so. Why couldn't matter, or the energy field around matter, and they really can change one to another, why can't matter be sentient? That was her word. Respond, feel, maybe no more than we. But maybe we can still put on trial whatever powers that be for the world we have now, and then still honor the creative powers, or the creative power. Don't we do that with ourselves, with our parents? I mean, who knows how to raise children? So we can be very wounded, very angry, strange, feel like a stranger to the human race. always losing face, doing things, and then thinking, oh my. I remember telling a gay friend of mine, this was many years ago, before it was okay to be gay, please tell our men's group. And he didn't want to, and I didn't understand that. But a distant friend of mine, PF, said on Facebook, anybody who doesn't look back on what they did 20 years ago and shudder hasn't been growing. So there's hope for all of us, and maybe for all of us it's okay. Nobody's perfect. Stranger to the human race. We're always losing face. We're baser than the base, a disgrace to be erased. And what is this erasing? Are the Sufis right, like fana, annihilation? Can we get out of our cage, our ego cage? Can we annihilate it and be free? I tried to do this when I was a Christian. First as the Catholic. Love your neighbor as yourself. And I was very unhappy trying to do that. I mean, I did help people move. And one friend said he regretted having to leave Hyde Park, which we lived in, because of people like me. So that, if I took it in, or take it in even now, can make me cry. But loving your neighbor as yourself, and not starting with love yourself and then your neighbor. I learned in Israel, there was a rabbi around the time of Jesus whose real name was Jeshua, or Joshua, probably Jeshua. Jesus is a Greek name. And Rabbi Hillel said, if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? And if I'm only for myself, what am I for? And that felt way healthier. I mean, it brought problems. People, when I came back to America and saw me not just helping them move like that, I actually got a job as a mover. I made a company called Creative Movers. Our motto was, if you haven't moved, you haven't gone anywhere. And I was getting money for moving. If I'm not for myself, who will be for me? And then, hopefully, if I'm only for myself, what am I for? How more, this will sound paradoxical, selfish it is to be caring, to let other people in, to care for them as we care for ourselves. But at least for me, a stage in doing this, and thank you, my beloved, dear wife, Robbie, who has just left us for a better place that's awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. It's a Jewish belief, if you have fond memories and or pray for the departed, it helps them rise to the heavens. So I cannot tell you how grateful I am for Robbie Pfeufer Kahn, for loving me, wanting me, and marrying me, and divorcing me. All gifts. As my dear friend Deanna said Robbie and I were two very wounded people. What a miracle, a miracle. We made it through for 8.5 years. What a gift that she could be with someone who deep down, I didn't even know this yet, was a stranger to the human race, who was always losing face, wasn't even aware of some of the things I did. They come to me now, morning after morning. Writing the chairman of the Committee on Social Thought, who was kind enough to get me on the committee where I could be an undergraduate student and get a master's. And I got angry at him because he didn't let a friend of mine get into the PhD program, and wrote a letter saying, "You're fired." So they asked me to leave, and were kind enough to give me a master's degree when I sent in a 30-page paper. I was so shook up, my father had to send it in for me. And they gave me a master's. Maybe they were afraid my dad would sue them, but I doubt it. Just beyond kind. I didn't know that. Maybe a good question is to ask, are there people in our lives who are beyond kind to us? And we don't know it. They might not know it. But you've got even a little sense of me. Imagine this wonderful woman, Robbie Pfeufer Kahn, who loved me for 8.5 years. She had trouble, there was some trouble in the marriage, which I won't say now. She's on her way to heaven. She might be surprised. I'm not sure she believed. But hi, Robbie. I cannot tell you now how much I love you. And she too, in her own way, which we won't go into, but just say, stranger, attracted to someone like me, we truly deserved each other. Strangers to the human race, we're always losing face. We're baser than the base, a disgrace to be erased. And so, since this is called Nobody's Perfect, okay, can't get any lower than that. That is hitting bottom, and then we can bounce. Robbie loved me to sing to her after we got divorced. It took about 18 years to begin to be friends again. Can't rush these things. I went to visit her for the first time in 18 years when the night Obama was running for president against John McCain, and I visited her in her home in Burlington, Vermont. Took 2 buses. Just went there for the evening. I wasn't comfortable to stay longer. And that started our friendship. And Obama won. We remained friends for the 8 years of his presidency. And she liked me to sing to her. And I wrote this song for her. When I feel all alone, I just pick up the phone and ask, how was your day? And whatever you say, I feel I'm not alone. No matter where I've strayed. Oh, it's painfully clear. We don't need to be near when we open our hearts. I'm going to try to remember the ending. Oh, it's painfully clear we don't need to be near when we open our hearts. And even though we might disappear, our love's state of the art. I remember now. Oh, it's painfully clear we don't need to be near when we open our hearts. We are never apart, though we might disappear, our love's state of the art. I'm going to say it one more time. This is called Remember to Remember. When I feel all alone, I just pick up the phone and ask, how was your day? And whatever you say, I feel I'm not alone. No matter where I've strayed. Oh, it's painfully clear we don't need to be near when we open our hearts. We are never apart, though we might disappear. Our love's state of the art. And it was. And I dare say it still is. Singing these songs to you, Robbie, I can feel, I know this is imagination, you might hear them. So love is a funny thing. Often, I don't know if this is always true, you can tell me, even though we disappear and stray, we are never apart, though we might disappear. Our love's state of the art. We can cry. We can be angry at what we've done. I once broke an engagement with you, Robbie, because you wouldn't lend your manual typewriter to my friend who was visiting Richard Freed. How dare I? I thought you were selfish. Now, it's easy to feel a stranger to the human race who's always losing face, baser than the base, disgrace to be erased. But good to know. I don't want to make this a bypass. I don't want to bypass the feelings of shame, maybe guilt, you name it. Sadness, not living up to my ideals. I always tried to be a good person because I wasn't very good. Which reminds me of another poem song. This is all in my book. Verse to Better, a poem for each day of our year, You can get it for free. Download it at michaelkoran.com. If you want a physical copy, it's extremely cheap. It almost doesn't count like advertising. It's $9.99 on Amazon. This was my first poem song. Very true for me and Robbie. I wrote it when a friend of mine, Robert Strand, visited with his wife from the Midwest. And we had been roommates at the University of Chicago. And then Bob left and went and got a degree in psychology and got a job at the University of Rochester, where I visited him, and became eventually professor emeritus, married twice, 2 children, home. And when he comes to visit, and he really loves me, we really were good roommates, or floor mates, University of Chicago. I'm gonna cry again. And I, alas, start shaking, really shaking in his presence, trying to hide it. So much of my life trying to hide from feelings. Don't do that. If someone would have told me that, would I have listened? Probably not. But don't do that. Greet your feelings, whatever they are. They're yours. Have conversations with them. Ask them what they need and want. Get help. Therapists, friends. Don't have to hide. I didn't know that even when Bob came to visit. I think I was in my late 60s, yes. Shaking and feeling stranger to the human race. I wish I could have told him. It's hard to be with someone when they come to visit and they love you and you say, I really feel bad because you're married and have a house and children and have had a career in academia. It's not quite true either. I love having been an adult education teacher and teaching adults in colleges and 10 years in prison. I deserve to be there. I identify with the inmates. 5 years in women's prison, 5 years in men's prison. I might not have, I wouldn't have done that if I, by any chance, had gotten my PhD like Robert Strand. But I don't know this then. Maybe you listening, maybe this is of help, I hope. And so I just shake. And I go visit my friend, Dr. Tuna. He's a bright Jew like me and became an auto mechanic. Dr. Tuna, he'll still come and fix your cars if you call him. He teaches at schools now. Became an adult education teacher like me. And Dr. Tuna, when I tell him how bad I feel when Bob Strand visits, says, Mikey, I didn't know. You feel this way too? Mikey, how bad can you be if I love you? Now, if anyone else said, I love you, I might have thought that was very nice. But Dr. Tuna was a real man. He could fix cars. He didn't teach classes. When I first met him and he wanted to be my friend, I said, I'm sorry, I don't have too much time. I want to spend my time writing and reading. And he yelled at me, what kind of friend is that? And Dr. Tuna knew how to be angry. And for the first time in my life, I felt kicked in the stomach by words. So when Dr. Tuna says, Mikey, how bad can you be if I love you? That got through my ego cage. Maybe for the first time. I couldn't just say, oh, thank you for loving me, and just, keep it at a distance. It got through. And I said, Brucey, that sounds like a song. And Brucey says, go write it. And so this is the first song I brought back to him. I would have loved to have known this when I was married to Robbie. She loved me singing songs like this to her. How bad can I be if you love me? How bad can I be if you care? How bad can I be if you love me? And it feels like we're walking on air. And it feels like we're walking on air. And it feels like we're walking on air. I lost all my friends and my family. I lost all my money and home. But how bad can I be if you love me, even if I'm all alone? How bad can you be if I love you? How bad can you be if I care? How bad can you be if I love you? And it feels like we're walking on air, and it feels like we're walking on air. Well, there's a theme here. Maybe it's unconditional love. Can we have that for ourselves, for others, for God, for the Milky Way? Why not? It doesn't mean we can't get angry. Find people guilty like the rabbis did. My wonderful cousin Judy Korn tells her children, I'll always love you, but like has to be earned. I'll always love you, but like has to be earned. Can we love in this way? Ourselves and one another. The great poet Airborne said, we need to love one another or we're going to die. As Rabbi Hillel said, if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? If I'm only for myself, what am I for? And if not now, when? Can we decide to love ourselves in every way? That sounds too mindful. Can we tune in to our heart? Maybe all our organs, skin and others, kidneys, pancreas, brain and others. Procreative, can we feel love radiating from us? Can we feel the earth loving us as we give our weight to it? It supports us. The air keeping us alive. Thank you, air. The sun feeding us, warming us. Wow. Asking little of us. But maybe more now. Take care of our climate. Maybe much more. But maybe the beginning is, like my friend, cousin Judy, always love you, like has to be earned. Well, there's another song I wrote especially for Robbie, see if I can find it. It was written, inspired by her. Thank you, Robbie. Airborne. I am here with you now. You are here with me now. I am you. You are me. When that's true, we both see all our nights bring our morns, and we die to be born, loving you who love me, being true. We are Airborne. Written to you, Robbie. Inspired by you. Lord knows why, how. I think I wanted us to know what it was to be each other. Not that I was capable of it. Not even capable of really shameful disgrace to the human race. Even seeing how beautiful you are. Woman's beauty was too powerful for me to acknowledge. I haven't had trouble sitting next to you. Even touch was painful unless we were being romantic. That was a trip for both of us. But this is what I want. I think it's somewhat true. Somewhat. Airborne. I am here with you now. Start that again. Nice thing about having your own television show. Airborne. I am here with you now. You are here with me now. I am you. You are me. When that's true, we both see all our nights bring our morn, and we die to be born, loving you who love me, being true. We are free. Well, not in an ordinary way, but maybe in a very unordinary way. Very. This poem song. I, who broke up with you hundreds of times over the smallest things, just needed a break and didn't know it. I was honest, and as soon as the anger left, I called. But I won't go into it. We deserved each other. This is called Love's Way. Stay with love's way. Don't run away. We'll be surprised before our eyes we'll reach our dreams beyond our schemes, letting love's way guide us always. Stay with love's way. Don't run away. We'll be surprised before our eyes. We'll reach our dreams beyond our schemes, letting love's way guide us always. And we do reach our dreams beyond our schemes. Robbie eventually inherited millions from her mother. Created a fund so that poor sociology students could go and get their degrees. Among other things, gifts to people to help them leave their jobs and pursue the life they wanted to. Going to school and getting a degree to do that. What a gift. Beyond dreams. And mine too, just to do this. I'm not so good when people die. I just forget them. And unless maybe if it wasn't for the show, I wouldn't be honoring you in this way, although I did leave, I think, 2 poems on the website. Anybody who knows Robbie Pfeufer, Kahn, there's a site where you can leave memories. I think I only have one more song or two. One go-away song. First and last song of this book. When you need a friend, and you were, in your own way, more than a friend. Wow. Not that I've learned. You like neatness. I was a college student, still am my whole life, messy. I was allowed messiness underneath my chair in the kitchen and in the back porch. Otherwise it was neat, which was very nice. Once when people came over, friends came over to visit, I showed them my closet. I was so happy and proud. It was neat. We had a rule, Robbie, because you were bothered by me leaving whiskers in the sink. Who wouldn't? And so we had a rule, if I left them, I would owe you a favor. And then you were happy to discover whiskers in the sink. We had our ways. We had a friend came to a party I had for my students, and I introduced Joe, who lived downstairs from me, to Ellen, who was the student, and they got married. And when we went to visit them And then they loved us visiting. And when I told them we were divorced, Ellen said, "Oh my, you guys were magic." And we were. We loved to fight. We had no hold-barred discussion sometimes. 8 hours just saying whatever we wanted to say. And then we tried. We went to hear Ashley Montague try to be loving people. It was too hard for us. I needed 16 years of therapy. You knew that. You were taking some. I've had it now. I'm blessed to my wondrous therapist, Debbie Black. Finally. Still haven't gotten over attacking myself, however. But here's the song. If you ever need a friend who will love you through the end, I'm your friend through the end. I'm your friend. If you ever need love that fits you like a glove, I'm your love, like a glove. I'm your love. If you fly through the sky, I will fly nearby. If you fall from the sky, I will glide by your side. So wherever we go, even when we're like foes, we are friends, loving friends through the end. If you ever need a friend who will love you through the end, I'm your friend through the end. I'm your friend. If you ever need love that fits you like a glove, I'm your love, like a glove. I'm your love. If you fly through the sky, I will fly nearby. Well, that's not true. So jealous you got a PhD, not me. But now, if you fly through the sky, I will fly nearby. If you fall from the sky, I will glide by your side. So wherever we go, even when we're like foes, we are friends, loving friends through the end. It feels like this is true. I pray this is true. And now to say goodbye, last poem song of my book. Love and fun in shade and sun and health and wealth to our dear ones, and everyone, love and fun, in shade and sun, and health and wealth to our dear ones. And everyone. And for our last minute, just have a minute of silence to pray for Robbie Pfeufer Kahn, who died this month when she was 80.